Well, hello everyone. Greg Scott Bailey here. Welcome to my YouTube channel. We are doing a walkthrough of a 7 Days to Die PvP game that I've been playing, a public server, and just doing a quick little tour around the town here so that we can get this dramatic view of the base that I built in the PvP game. Mostly, this is just a quick little walkthrough tour that I was doing for the folks I promised on there that I would do. And I figured, well, let's go ahead and record it, put it on YouTube, let people be able to see. One of the things I wanted to do is I wanted to build a mountain base. We had done it before on this server before it had wiped and restarted. So we ended up doing it again, and turns out like I found this mountain, and I was like, I'm gonna build a base in the side of the mountain. Unfortunately, Alpha 19 is coming out, and right now, as I record this, Alpha 19 for the stream team is currently out. They're playing it this weekend, so I'm using this time to go back, record a nice little walkthrough. We'll pick up a gyro there. This is a PvP server. You keep all your all your goodies that you want to keep and not lose in your tool belt. This server does not drop tool belt, but it drops backpack when you die. Um, I mean, right off the back, I just want to say these were gifted in barrels from the owners of the server. Bought them from their. They had like a little player vending machine that you could buy objects that are not normally built or bought in the game. Um, So yeah, let's go ahead and walk back out here real quick. So we wanted, of course, the runway to be able to land on. This was built later on, but since we landed here, I want to kind of give the first little walkthrough of what this was gonna be had I been able to go to completion. Um, right now, part up top there, the glass there, that was going to be a kind of a control room, a command center or whatnot. It's just an empty room. It's just got the glass in there, bulletproof glass. I did put one solar panel up for power to also test if any of my intruders would drop down from the mountain and try to come down from there. All it does is really all it really does is it covers a horn for power. Alerts me that somebody dropped down on top there. Let's move over here to stop the garage from opening. Um, the the garage door itself is a powered garage door. It's two garage doors beside each other. The original idea I had was to have four, two on top, two on bottom, and it would open up like a kind of like a clamshell or whatnot. Problem is you can't advance rotate the garage doors, so I had to kind of stick with doing it this way because otherwise I was going to push the base inside the mountain even more and not have it protruded this much. I ended up deciding, okay, well, we'll just go ahead and build a runway. I'll put basic defense out here. You know, one turret guards the runway, other turret guards this door and this section over here. Um, a good portion of this, like this here, is all just like design element. You know, it's like it's not really a defense. It's not really anything that specifically does any kind of protection. At this point, it's just design. That's all design over there. Um, hop down over here. This is all bulletproof glassing. I had just put in before we started canceling out. I just started putting in. I took out the glass and put in concrete blocks here because this is a support structure that goes all the way up to the top that's needed, and it goes all the way down to bedrock as well. And the windows over there also bulletproof glass. And it's just a real nice lovely view. You got Dishong Tower, Higashi, Crackabuk Tower over there. You got a real nice view of the city when the snow doesn't prevent it. Turns out, you know, when I'm recording this is actually a good time to do it. Down at the bottom there, that's going to be a part we'll show here later. That was going to be like a later phase of work to be done. Inside, I got three vault doors to get through here, which is kind of funny because all you need is to get through is one door there. But this is all steel and then painted to be the metal, the cheap metal. I'll turn my light on. I went ahead and I put two generator banks here for powering the doors out there and powering some of the other components in the base. A couple of the other players that play with me, I told them go ahead and put your bedrolls here in the runway where these turrets can defend the door. Reason being for that is there is a glitch that people use to try to get into your base. If your bedroll's in your base, they can keep like eating glass or jumping off a cliff, laying whatever. You know, if their character keeps dying over and over again, there's a chance in a server that your character is going to respawn on somebody's bedroll that's not yours, and so they'll do that. And so in that case, I said, okay, we'll put your bedrolls there, so that if somebody does spawn inside the base, we got turrets there to shoot them when they they come back in or when they get in. So we were going to be doing a farm plot up top. I will show you that part here, of course, eventually. We didn't get to do it, but what this ended up being is as much as we could do from this window, 2 blocks out. We might have been able to go 3 out. I can't remember. But we just went ahead and just put all the farm materials up against here, which also makes it kind of right for people trying to break in because they see that there's food materials here, but we never had a break-in or attempt at this area, so I was pretty happy with that. Went ahead and I put my mushrooms on the back wall here. So yeah, this is basically the observation deck. Again, you could see the city when it's not snowy and it's uh, not blizzardy out there. We are kind of above a wasteland biome, so occasionally that will kick into and it'll darken and dampen the light there. So we got 2 vault doors through to this section here, motion sensor lights to another a generator. I put a second workbench up here from our workshop so that when I'm up here working, I could just utilize that. The back wall here, I never got to dig out and fully go as far as the land claim block goes, but I started putting in a new room here. I call it the soil room, and this is whenever I needed to cycle clay. I could just hit here with an auger, and I can dig all this up real quick, and then make more dirt. And it gives you more clay soil when you dig it up than it takes to make the dirt. I went ahead and left these doors open last time I logged on, so I could just walk through a generator room. So this was going to be another power source room. Currently, it just powers these lights for these rooms. Once in a while, one of them blinks, so that's kind of funny. What was going to be above the soil room, reason why there's a frame missing here, is the soil room actually was going to be the bottom half of the garden that I was going to put in. So this whole section here, let's see if I can remember. Now we'll remember. We'll just do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So 9 by 9 interior, right? This was going to be a 9 by 9 garden. Make it an odd number so that we can get that. Excuse me, make it an odd number so that we can get this middle piece here. What this is this will go all the way up to the top out of the mountain, and light will be able to come down to every section that we would have, and it would probably end up being the same height here as this. Um, you know, I don't know why I'm actually worried about anybody logging on and killing me right now. It's a PvP server, so there's a little bit of paranoia, but nobody's on while I'm on right now. 1, 2, 3, 4. So 4, and then 5 is the actual roof. Each section would have been about that tall, about 4 high, fifth one being the roof of the section. And that would go all the way up to the top. And what you could do is you could put a garden in each section. And you could probably go 1, 2, maybe 3 out, and the garden will get light from that center block. And so you could put in, 1 level of corn, 1 level of potatoes, 1 level of blueberries, whatever. So it could be any of those things that you want, and the soil room was basically the indicator where it was. I picked this because this was the most structurally sound from bedrock all the way up to the top, to be able to do something like that. And if someone were to break in, the things that I was setting up here, in each section there would have been a turret, and I just would have made it difficult for people when they break in to have to get to the next section. They may get my corn, but they won't get my potatoes. They may get the corn and potatoes, but they won't get my blueberries. More gifted in items from the player vending machine from the server owners. I always grab office chairs, so I was going to end up making an office. Put in cubicles. I was going to put in a desk and everything like that. I left these doors open, so this just wraps around back to the hangar where we had the gyrocopter and where we flew out. Um, I found out that you couldn't paint behind these truss pieces, these girders and stuff like that. So at one point I was going to destroy them and make new ones. And in a lot of cases, this server, the server owners basically modded in a lot of items that you can't normally craft. So don't expect some of the things I've got here to be in vanilla either. Um, Before I was going to finish the back wall here, this was access to my wiring and service duct up above, and so I had tunneled out and set up a lot of this back here. This goes above the roof above the observation deck. I foolishly did not just fill it in solid with all blocks, and I had it collapse several times. A lot of structural integrity issues, unfortunately. I didn't think it through. Oh, real quick, the server did mod in that these junction boxes are electrical relays, and they don't show the wires when you connect to them. So you can see a wire that's connected to this. That goes from that, I think the motion sensor downstairs to this junction box. But then it goes from this junction box to the next and the next, and there's no wires when you connect those. So that's a nice little mod in item there as well. Um, but yeah, that was a nice little service way that I put in so that I could go up and do wiring, and then eventually it just would have been like a 13th floor where it would just been a probably a 2 block high floor where it was just strictly for wiring. Um, okay, so let's start going down to the rest of the base here that I had set up. Another defense point here is there would have been fencing put in, like probably metal bars here, and we would have had like 3 or 4 turrets guarding this door. The point being is we want to continue to make it difficult for anybody. If they make it through one layer, they got to make it through other layers to even get anywhere in the server. Now there's 2 options here in this room on the 8th floor. This is this going up the stairs is where the 8th floor technically is, but I went ahead and I put the numbers here, and one of the other players put the metal rivet or grating metal grating in for the color, and gotta have plants for decoration. But we have a stair hatch that goes all the way down to the bottom. Um, and one of the things I do to achieve, I hit spacebar, fall, hit spacebar now, and you grab the ladder again. Um, I've died a couple times doing this, but just basic torch there. And so now you get down to bedrock. This is, oh, there we go. Bedrock. We're down to point 3. Um, but I want to show you something before we show that. I feel bad now. I messed up the floor down there. So you can imagine going up this ladder is it takes a little bit. It actually takes your stamina to hit shift and go up the ladder at a faster pace. So sometimes I'll take off shift and then I'll press it again. Now my character is level 192 at this point. We're 436 days in. It's 90-minute days, I believe. So the server, when there's people on it, the days are always running, but when nobody's on it, the days pause. Okay, so the stairwell, I ended up putting a doorway in here because at some point somebody actually got in the base, and so I had to start creating more mechanisms of blocking people out. So I figured, well, if people are going to come up the stairwell, they're successfully able to break in, we need to cap off the top and make it difficult for them to get out. And I'll explain that break in here in a bit. So floor 7, this was the start of basically the first set of apartment wings. I was starting to create rooms and sections for people. Then eventually I was just thinking, well, I had 3 or 4 people playing with me, so I said, okay, well, why don't we make it, this is your floor. This player gets floor 7. This other player gets floor 6. Things like that. And that was going to wrap around into the rock here, all the way around structurally as safe as possible within the confines of the land clan block. And so yeah, so I just ended up wrapping this whole stairwell around. I blocked off. I put the wall in instead of the rock on this west side because of part of the intrusion problem we had. So again, so yeah, I was doing floor 6. I didn't get to dig that out yet. We had floor 5. I think I started digging floor 5 because I thought floor 5 was going to be the apartment wing. And there's various sections where I just dug it unevenly, but I think between floors 5 and 4 and 5, I think right here was where one of the breaches was right here. There was a tunnel going straight out the mountain. Um, and so yeah, so they actually went through a land claimed dirt rock to get through. So yeah, floor 4. As you can see, it's like we had plenty of resources being inside a mountain. This is we went through so much iron, and there's still iron veins that we didn't dig out. So yeah, down to 3. More iron. Some pumps of iron. Floor 2, which I was the very first thing I was trying to dig out for the next floor up. And so between floors 1 and 2, this is where we ended up killing one of the intruders. Was in our little mine here of iron. We were starting to work on this here. Guy was hiding in here, and somebody came over and helped me out. Got him. I think they took a whole bunch of like either fort bites and other extra stuff to help me out. And they were in like a bright pink ghillie suit too, if I remember correctly. Either that or the person helping me was. Either way, I ended up putting a turret there to defend here if anybody did make it down to this section. Because again, with this being our mines, we had all this open area here that we were doing, which leads to here. This was our big mine area where we got all of our iron. A good portion, I think, of coal and nitrate was in here as well. As you can see, there's even still more minerals over there that still were not mined. I wanted to show you guys, so in this room that I was showing you here, where we got all the resources, there was a tunnel system here that I had originally built for my old base. Let me load up the map and zoom out just a bit here. So where you see um, these X's actually were intruders entry points marked, but over right about here, this quick waypoint, that was my actual first entry into the base, and I will try to go over there and dig down into it later, and if not, I'm going to skip over what I'm saying right here. But I basically I tunneled all the way north to this point, and then I tunneled, or excuse me, east, and then north to where I put the base in. Because once I decided on a spot that I wanted, and I had an initial mini base over here, I wanted to connect them, which probably was foolish in the end. Because what ended up happening, so I've filled all of this in, a good portion of this going south, with rock. You can make rock out of the forge, the actual stone that you dig up here. Otherwise, you can make destroyed stone, which isn't as strong, and it shows like little brick and other textures that are different. So if on a PvP game, it's going to give it away that it's something that's not natural to the area. But yeah, so what I ended up doing, because of what my tunnels there, and one of my land claim blocks was actually in the tunnels, invisible. Somebody used a ground glitch to see where my land claim was. They dug directly to it. They got to the tunnel and got to it, and destroyed my land claim block. And they exposed this whole section here of this mine, and I believe up to a certain point, going up to the tunnel, maybe like, yeah, probably actually right about here, that they exposed. And so then my other land claim, which I'll show you guys in here, I vary these up, so I don't mind giving away where this land claim is. My other land claim is actually right here at the bottom of the ladder shaft that I was showing you earlier, and then painted the rock and stuff. But so it's one of those things where it's like we got one of our exposed land claims. They were able to get from there because of the mining and the way that I did the stairwell. They were able to get around, because this is another section here that I was creating. I never did work on that. I'll get to that later as well. So I started just creating these extra annoying little areas to go through. One of the other players that broke in, this was exposed. This was all open. was stuck in this area. Apparently, he had fell down into this room. It's too high to jump out, even with max parkour. And so one of the other players, because we found out which two players had broke in, one of the other players had to kill their own teammate in order to um, get him out, so that he would spawn back at his bedroll somewhere else. That tunnel actually goes to another exit to my tree farm, and I'll show you that here in a little bit as well. Let me wrap back around. See, the point of a lot of this really is just to make it too damn annoying to break in, or you know, at the very least, making it fun. If someone likes to go through all the annoyance of this. Before I show anything else, I'll show you in here is the workshop. So down at Bedrock, you know, just off of the land claim area, there is the workshop. This way, we've got our workbench, chemistry station. We got all of our boxes with supplies. I am rocking 3, 6, 9, but not just 9, 10, and 11 forges. These were some of the 2 original forges. But yeah, I ended up stacking them over here. We got the generator doing the 2 turrets down at the bottom there, and the light here. We got 1, 2, 3, and 4 cement mixers because we are constantly making concrete mix to fill in rebar and build the base. One of the other players ended up making a doorway here. I can't get into it. It's their super secret area. This server actually has working stove. That okay? Apparently, somebody let go a little too much. We're not going to be playing on this server anyways, but anymore. You know, like I said, Alpha 19's out, and Monday we're going to be playing something new. But yeah, I just did that anyways. The sink also works, so if you end up having an empty glass, you just right click on the sink. Where is it? On the faucet, sorry, and you get murky water, and then you can cook it in the stove. So that was kind of fun to get. Again, that's modded in from the server owners, which they got mods from a variety of people. But yeah, different other crafting sorting. We got dump boxes. We got the players there. A whole bunch of books for schematics and everything. So if I've got something read, the other players can come here and see if there's one that they haven't read, and it'll be in the bookshelf for them to go through. At some point, I was just going to go ahead and go and sell them for dukes, but I think we let one of the other players do that. But yeah, it just ended up being like a really fun little library design to the area. And since we're at Bedrock, these are wood sheets on the ground, wood or metal sheets, and we just painted the carpet. That's how you can at least paint your flooring if you're at Bedrock. But yeah, so this was the workshop. We were starting to build an armory where we were going to specifically start separating everything. This is really good, and this is fun when you start creating something like this for. There we go. Turn the light on. This is fun when you start creating just like more sections for people to have to break into to get to valuable stuff. You know, I have a vault somewhere on this server that I don't show to anybody, and all my massive amount of my Duke supplies in that vault, as well as like tier 6 stuff and higher level stuff. If I had to wipe and start over, you know, people broke into the base, completely destroyed everything. I had to start over. I would have gone to the vaults when safe and start fresh again. So that's down here. Actually, let me show you what I was going to show you. Go down the tunnel here and show you guys what I have here. So at this point, we're now outside of the land claim block area. This is not protected on this spot. The hard part about that is, you know, of course, you're giving possible access to your base if people find it. But what this does is this takes people to my decoy base, or that's not necessarily a base, but it also goes to my tree farm. So what I do is I just go ahead and sacrifice. I make a couple stone blocks or soil. Soil sometimes mimics the texture. So you could use soil. And of course, I was finding that I can get some more iron, some coal here. So let's go up top. And so several, 100, at least 100 blocks up top. Eliminate the topsoil here. And what you have is my little decoy base, which is, you got a chest with just kind of one item in it. In this case, seeds, because if I need to replant seeds, got a little cooking pot. This is my actual bedroll. You can see the icon on my compass. Little nook here. What I found is like at a certain point where the server just starts getting so high of level, little nooks and stuff like this, people actually like the most they'll do is they'll come in, they'll destroy the chest, break into it, and they'll find that there's only seeds in there for the trees, and then they'll give up. What they don't realize is right next to it, in the ground. As long as they're not ground glitching. I mean, this is for legitimate purposes. If people are not cheating, right next to it is in fact the little secret entrance into the base. And then this is the tree farm, which I got a little ridiculous on. I do apologize to the server owners for this. But yeah, I planted a couple trees over here. Just a couple. What's actually what is this? Just random missing block, I guess, in the mountainside. But yeah, so I planted some really annoying trees. But I also wanted to go this way to show you guys the rest of what I was going to be working on, like the phases 4 and 5 sections. But yeah, so that was my tree farm. I was never short of having wood supply. And out of all the server, it's easy to spot people's tree farms. You plant trees like this, they show up differently when they load in. So you got to be careful. That's going to be a dead giveaway. But if you can make it so that maybe it's obnoxious or people just kind of realize like, okay, well, somebody's got something here, maybe they may or may not have a base nearby. But you're just kind of mixing it up. There's different techniques, different things you're wanting to do. I'm not going to claim that I had the best techniques, the best ideas, but it was fun to really be able to test out a lot of that stuff. A lot of these pock marks up here in the snow, these are actually like random screamers and wandering hordes or whatever were aggroed. They didn't know where we were under the mountain, but occasionally they would just, you know, they would smack when they jump around in their stationary areas. And once in a while, they would destroy the snow blocks. And that's how we get like these little pock marks. This was a common area for them to load into and just hang around because they couldn't find us. However, this little bit here was somebody dug up this entire thing trying to find where my land claim was. So they dug this whole line. They even dug through the road, those rude bastards. Dug through the road all the way over to here and just started kind of checking out like where the land claim started. So it does start roughly right about where that ends, I believe. And so what's this? This was going to be phase 5, which I ended up making phase 4. Um, the previous incarnation of this server, I had a big tower on top of a mountain, and so this was going to be Tower 2.0 essentially. Um, the tower itself is actually that that farm going all the way down to the soil room. And what I was doing here is so this little entry into here. Like, oh, okay, so we broke through this door. Okay, okay, we're in another room. Okay, so if we break through here, and okay, okay, well, another room. All right, so let's break through here. Now we got 3 rooms, and those all 3 lead to nowhere. So basically, it's all a decoy technique. If people basically spend all this time trying to break in to these rooms, and they find that they're going nowhere. What you're hoping is to discourage them from trying to break in at all. They're going to just keep finding a basic nothing burger. Is a term I've been hearing and using a lot lately. So the design I've got going on here, I was going to make on all 4 sections on each side. We're going to dig out the other side of the mountain there, and the tower itself. All of this inside here was going to end up being those multiple levels of gardening that I was going to do. With this height, I could easily have done like three levels of corn, three levels of potato, just multiple levels. Because again, if somebody goes to the very top and they are able to somehow break in from the top, then they got to start breaking in through all the other sections. And this is, watch your stomachs. This goes down to that part I told you where I put replace the glass with um, the reinforced concrete, the rebar. And this is where I was, my last project I was working on was I was trying to fill in this section here before we started having some issues with the server, and Alpha 19 was announced that it was coming out. So obviously I had more sections to work on. The design element itself was just going to be made out of cobble flagstone blocks, but the reinforced concrete was the interior side, and it was just going to be just a nice big tall tower, nice flat sides here. Oops. Oh, we got a little bit of thunder and lightning going on outside while I'm recording this. Let's hope I can finish. And the cool thing is we had like this little house out here. One of the other players was going to start building a secondary runway, and but basically we were getting to the point where we were okay with now being exposed to the rest of the world. We were working underneath the mountain all the time, staying hidden and stuff like that. I even had a tunnel that went out to the town there at one point before I got the gyrocopter. But yeah, so then I was going to work on a design on the four corners there that was going to lead up to the top. There's probably going to be like a little pointed top, but I never did finish that. The other player, this is one of his structural braces that he was building, and I believe he was going to exit out the opposite side here next to the house. All right, so let's go down to the very bottom, and in order to, I think, safely do that, maybe we can. Maybe we could gyro. Maybe. Okay, there we go. So this again is this is the entire build of the base from the exposed side, and remember everything else is inside the mountain and going down to bedrock. So you got a lot of space. I believe max height is 254 blocks high minus the 3 in bedrock, so that's what 251 blocks worth, 251 meters that you could build in. And then we had, I think, 60 by 60 land claim blocks, and we were allowed 4 land claim blocks. So I was going to have those 4 land claim blocks all structured right here at this base, and we were starting to kind of make loose plans to add the other players' land claim blocks. They could have up to 4, and we were going to just make like a big, massive claimed area here. But we ended up just obviously not getting that far. It's a big project. So Wastelands area, obviously, watch out for landmines. I read the book very early on. It was pretty cool. And I had plenty of my Horde Knights on this road, and this landmine never went off. That's kind of funny. So what was I doing here? This was going to be a Phase 4 project, which was going to be the trader outpost. This was going to be stairs. I didn't get to finish that part. Stairs here. The whole point was to try to create a no kill zone. It's a mutual respect no kill zone. Obviously people have to adhere to that. And if they don't, then I would have just packed up and closed shop. It never happened, but under construction, trader depot. So what I was going to have is I was going to have at least 2 sections here, and I was going to create an interior vault system inside where people can come into a room. The room would have a vault hatch actually attached on the wall, which would lead to a storage box. So the idea is that the vault hatch was going to be electronic, and when the box itself, the storage box itself, was going to be unlocked, and on the other side of it, I could put stuff in. And what I was going to do is essentially when I agree to a trade to someone, we friend and we meet here, so they could see me on the map. I could see them. There's a safe place essentially is going to be here. I'm going to be safe in my side of the room. they're going to be safe on their side of the room. And the idea here is that I would then, when they agree and they say, okay, the dukes are in the box, I would close the vault hatch. I would get the dukes and I would put the items into the box, and I would open the vault hatch again, all electronically from a switch on my side. So it's going to be a fun little technique. I'm going to try to build and do that at some point, maybe in another video, a standalone video, and kind of show what I was going to try to do there. But yeah, this was going to be the trader outpost. This whole outpost here was at minimum going to be 3 blocks thick of reinforced concrete, and then again, same kind of techniques if I can. As I was going to put a couple vaults doors in, so it makes it harder for them to get through. But at the same time, it was going to be the also going to be electronic vault hatches, vault doors, sorry, so that they can be let in when I'm ready for them. So it's just kind of like all these neat little things that I was trying to implement and do that we never really got around to. And the I believe the land claim for this area is just out there somewhere. So what I was going to end up doing is I was going to turn that building into a horde base as well out there. And it's just all these little things, all these ideas that I wanted to implement that I never got really a chance to do, and that's just because we ended up mainly running out of time. It's one of my gripes, but it's a good problem to have. I'm just going to say that right now. It's one of my gripes about moving to another alpha is that we're having to restart again, and so all the things that all the plans that were in motion for this summer had to be canceled, which included this work on this PvP game. But at the same time, it was still pretty fun. Oh, and there's my temporary horde base I was doing out in the middle there. That's not land claimed, but it was just going to be a pyramid I could stand on and shoot the zombies with. So there you go. That's my PvP base. I tried to go over to the original spot that I had my base, my temporary base in, and it's all messed up. There's all sorts of craziness there, so I'm not gonna share that. But suffice to say, you guys got to see on the map what I said about how I started at one point, dug through the mountain, went all the way around to this sheer cliff face side that I wanted, because I wanted to face Dishong Tower and everything. The height level here for the runway is plus 150 meters. You can see above on my compass that this server has the meter height right there. I absolutely love having it like that. But yeah, this was going to be my mountaintop. What I call it, New Fort Decoy, because my character's decoy fodder, and we got pretty far, but not far enough. Hopefully, at some point, maybe I will build a mountain structured base like this again. But until that day happens, I do want to thank you all for stopping by, watch the video. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Post in the comments below. Let me know your thoughts and ideas for PvP games. Remember to keep it constructive. I have ideas, you have ideas. Let's all kind of use this time to kind of share some ideas with each other. Of course, don't share techniques that you don't want other people to know if you're on a PvP game. But in a lot of cases, I do want to remind everybody, if you're broadcasting a PvP game, put a massive delay on your stream if you can, and try not to give away your secret hidey holes. So thanks again, everybody, for stopping on by, and as always, we'll see you on the next adventure. Bye bye.